व्रज जनरञ्जना यशोदानन्दना व्रज जनरञ्जना यमुना तीरवनचारी जय कुंज विहारी यमुना तीरवनचारी जय कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी यशोदानन्दना व्रज जनरञ्जना यशोदानन्दना व्रज जनरञ्जना यशोदानन्दना व्रज जनरञ्जना यमुना तीरवनचारी जय कुंज विहारी यमुना तीरवनचारी कुंज विहारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नमः ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Welcome to everyone. Today we are going to discuss 15th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita called The Yoga of the Supreme Person. Purushottama Yoga. We have discussed in the 13th chapter how the jivas, the living entities, get entangled in this material world due to association with the three modes of material nature. The 14th chapter, we have discussed what are the three modes of material nature, how it binds the soul, how the three modes of material nature influence the soul, how it acts, how we can get released from the three modes of material nature. That's what we have discussed in the 14th chapter. In this chapter, it talks about this material world to be a banyan tree. We can see many places, particularly in Calcutta, a big banyan tree which covers many meters, many branches, very big. It's very complicated. Branch will go and come down, again it will become act as a root and start. Like that, it spreads the material world like a banyan tree. That we'll discuss later. This chapter has got 20 verses. It's divided into 5 sections. The first section is called Becoming Detached from the Material World, verse number 1 to 6. Second section is called Transmigration of the Soul, verse number 7 to 11. Third section, Krishna's role in maintaining the living entities, verse number 12 to 15. Fourth, 3 categories of persons, verse number 16 to 18. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, verse number 19 to 20. So, first division we'll see. The last several chapters, Krishna explained the Bhakti Yoga is a means to get detached from this entanglement, from this material world. Only by the process of Bhakti, one will be able to get detached from the material world, material activities, and get attached to Krishna. In this chapter, the first section, Krishna describes how one can cut off the relationship with the material world and attain to spiritual world. This material world is compared to be a banyan tree, and it has got many branches. And the jivas get entangled in the branches according to their desire. That's what Krishna says in the first verse. Urdhava moolam adashakam ashvattam pravur avyayam chandamsi yasya parnani yastam veda savedavid. Krishna says to Arjuna, my dear Arjuna, there is an imperishable banyan tree, that its root going up, branches coming down, whose leaves are known as Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas. Krishna clearly explains in this chapter how one can cut the relationship with the material world. He compares this material world to be a banyan tree. And the jivas, the living entities, get entangled in this material world by performing different kinds of fruitive activities. The more jiva get attached to the fruitive activities, he gets different kinds of bodies. Sometimes get the body of a demigod, sometimes get the body of human being, sometimes you get the body of animal or aquatics or among 84 species of life, according to his desire, according to his work, he get different kinds of body. As long as we are absorbed in fruitive activities, getting attached to the material activity, so long we have to take birth in this material world. Therefore, Lord Rishabhadeva says in Srimad Bhagavatam, Parabhavastavat abhota jato yavana jignasata atma tattvam yavat kriyastavat idam manovai karmatmayena sharira bandha. He says, as long as one does not come to the platform of inquiring about Atma Tattva, as long as one does not come to the platform of inquiring about Atma Tattva, one's life is defeated. He may be a big president, Nobel laureate, scientist. If he does not come to the point of inquiring about Atma Tattva, science of Atma, science of self-realization, if one does not come to the platform, his life is completely defeated. Whether one may perform good action or bad action, good karma or bad karma, both is called reaction. If one performs a pious activity, will get good reaction for that also. Vikarma, sinful activity, will get reaction for that also. But you'll get reaction, guarantee. If one performs pious activity, he'll go to a higher planet. If one performs sinful activity, go to lower planets or lower birth, like animals, aquatics, something. So as long as one performs fruity activity, he has to get different kinds of body. It's called field of activity. The body is called field of activity that we have discussed in the 13th chapter. For example, for earthworm, the field of activity is very small compared to dog. Dog can run, jump. Earthworm cannot run, jump. For human being, the field of activity is larger than the dog. Similarly, there are many categories of human being. Educated, uneducated, educated, very intelligent, highly powerful person. So everyone has got different field of activity. Like a prime minister, his field of activity, the body is real, it's big, higher. The field of activity is very large because he can do anything. He has the power to control. He can take flight at any moment. He can get flight and move, go to any place. We cannot go because we are limited. The demigods, they can fly within a moment. They can go to any other place. Their field of activity, the body is relatively larger than the president of our country or president of USA. So there are different kinds of bodies, it's all different field of activities. As we perform the fruity activity, according to the activity, we'll get different field of activity. Therefore, one is situated either a human being or animal or aquatics or demigods. Based on our fruity activity, we'll get different kinds of body and enjoy and get entangled in this material world. As long as one is attached to fruity activity, so long he has to take birth in this material world. Krishna says in this verse, there is a banyan tree that has root going upward and the branches coming downward. We do not have this kind of experience in this world. We don't see any tree whose root is going upward, branches coming downward. We don't see. Yet we can experience where when we go to the reservoir of water, lake somewhere. On the bank of the lake, there is a tree. When we look at the water, we can see in the water, the tree's root is going upward, branches going downward. Suppose there is a mango tree. We look at mango in the water. A person thinks there is a mango in the water. He jumps into the water and try to get the mango, pluck the mango. He cannot get. Why? Because reflection. At the same time, we cannot say mango is not there. Mango is not there in the water. It is there in the original tree. So this material world is nothing but the reflection of the spiritual world. Whatever we see here, Everything exists in reality, but not here in the spiritual world. When you chase after happiness in this material world, just like a person wants to get a mango in the water, he cannot get it. It's only a reflection. We cannot get the mango. If you want to get the mango, go to a real tree, not the reflected tree on the water. Similarly, if you want to get enjoyment, we cannot get enjoyment in this material world. However, we may chase after enjoyment, we cannot enjoy. Only we get frustration. Just like a reflected, the mango, reflection of mango on the water. We try to get, I'll not get, only I'll get frustrated. Similarly, if I chase after happiness in this world, I cannot get happiness. Only get frustrated. As our body is nourished by a food that we eat, as a tree is nourished by water, similarly this material world is nourished by three modes of material nature. This world has got different planetary system. There are upper planetary system, middle and lower. The branches are going upward also. Krishna says branches are going downward also. In the following verse, Krishna says the branches going upward and downward both. That means this material world, the earth planet, from here, this planet earth, there are many planets are there. 6 planets above the earth and 7 planets below the earth. They are called branches. Branches are going up, branches going downwards also. And the purpose of Vedas is to cut off the attachment to this material world. And according to our desire, we'll get different body and we'll be situated in different planets. Just like we wander from one body to another body, from one planet to another planet. It's all due to performing fruitive activity. As long as one is absorbing performing fruitive activity, so long he has to jump from one planet to another planet, from one body to another body. This material world is nothing but the reflection of the spiritual world. So as long as we are attracted by the material desire, we suffer. There was a person, a traveler, he went to attend some family function. After attending, he was returning home. He was all alone. He was passing through like a desert kind of things, too hot, summer time. He started walking, became very tired, exhausted. He was feeling thirsty, feeling hungry, because he had to pass through the kind of desert, too hot. After walking for some kilometers, then he saw there was one tree, nice tree. He felt very happy. Let me go and relax. He went to near the tree. Good shade was there. He sat underneath the tree. He did not know the tree is a desire tree, wish fulfilling tree. After sitting there, he thought, if I have got nice cot here, because very atmosphere was very pleasant, nice breeze, shade was there, he was exhausted. Naturally, when we walk for a long time in the scorching heat, we want to relax. So he also thought, if I get nice cot, how nice it would be. The moment he thought, immediately he saw nice cot, the nice cushion in his bed. Then sat on the cot, started sitting, rolling, because without any endeavor, all of a sudden, just he thought, he got the cot with nice cushion, bed, started rolling. Then he thought, okay, nice cot I got. If I get a nice food, because he has been walking for a long time, feeling hungry, and he thought, if I get a nice food, how nice it would be. Immediately there are 50-60 items in the tray appeared in front of him. Became joyful, started dancing, jumping to see such nice items, chapati, puri, jalebi, jamun, rasgulla, everything was there. Then he had sumptuously all the items. Was very happy, excited that without any endeavor, he got nice bed and nice food. After eating, then he thought, oh, my body is very tired. If I get a nice woman, a beautiful young girl, comes and massage my body, how nice it would be. Then he thought, anyway, both, whatever I thought, I got it. This also will come. The moment he thought, immediately there was an apsara. The moment he saw the beautiful woman, he was completely excited, started jumping, dancing, so excited. Then she started massaging. He had nice time with the girl, that young woman. He enjoyed for some time. Then after that, the woman went. Became pitch dark. Night, almost 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Amavasya day. Full dark. Some sound started coming. Because there was no houses there. It's like a desert kind of thing. There only one tree was there. Then he was overtaken by fear. No one is there, no light is there. He thought, no one is there here. I am very much afraid. All of a sudden, if any tiger comes and attacks me, how horrible it is. Immediately, tiger pounced upon him. The tiger was behind the tree and pounced upon him and killed him. Tiger started eating him. Because he did not know, he was sitting underneath the desire tree. Just like we cannot withstand the attack of one tiger. We cannot withstand the attack of one tiger. But lust, greed, anger, envy, this is all more powerful than the tiger. When we desire right thing, we are protected. Similarly, this kama, krodha, lobha, when we want some material things in this world, we want to achieve something, this kama, krodha, lobha, all will chase behind us and will crush us, finish us. Therefore, one should not be captivated by the material desire to become big in this world. The more we want to become big, kama, krodha will come and crush us. We should become big in consciousness, not by power, position. The more we get power, the more we become puffed up. That will crush us, finish us, get entangled in this material world. Now, next, how to get out of this material world, how to cut off the attachment to the material world. That Krishna says, Ashvattam enam sviruda moolam asanga shastrena dridena chitva. With drida, strong determination, one should cut off the deep-rooted attachment for the material activities. With asanga shastrena. Sangha means association, attachment. Asanga means detachment. Shastra means weapon. With the weapon of detachment, one should cut off attachment with this material world. How can develop detachment from this material world? It's not so easy. Because every jiva desire to enjoy sense gratification. That is deep rooted, very strong. Just like Ashwatha, a root is there. It's very strongly rooted. It can penetrate even the rock. We can see on the rock and all that Ashwatha tree will go, banyan tree. It will even break the rock, very strongly rooted, very strong. To pull out the Ashwatha tree, it's not so easy, very strong. Similarly, our desire to enjoy is strong and deep rooted. Krishna says one should remove, pull out of what? Desire to enjoy sense gratification. How is it possible? Asanka shastrena. With weapon of detachment, one should pull out. With strong determination, one should cut off this attachment to sense gratification by dissociation with weapon of detachment. That is possible only when we hear about the spiritual science, when we learn spiritual science from spiritual master like Srila Prabhupada, pure devotee. When we hear from them, great personalities, then we'll be able to detach ourselves from the material world. And the more we hear about Krishna, the glories of Lord, we'll gain detachment. That's said in the Bhagavatam. When one renders service unto Vasudeva, one gains detachment and knowledge. When we render service unto Krishna, naturally we'll gain detachment. We need to artificially try to get detachment. It's not possible. By hearing about Krishna, by learning spiritual knowledge, spiritual science from bona fide spiritual master, naturally can cut off relationship with this material world. Then Krishna says, thereafter, one should search after a place where having gone once, never comes to this material world. There, should surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should always figure out the place where having gone once, just to people want to go to moon planet, Venus planet. They want to go and come back. But Krishna says, you go, but never come back to this place. Because this place is called Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. You cannot be happy in this world. You cannot live eternally in this world. Search out for a place where you can live eternally, happily. There one should surrender unto Krishna. What qualification one required to go to the place? Anyone can go to the place? Krishna says one should have some basic qualification to approach the place. What are the basic qualifications? That says Nirmana Moha Jatasanga Dosha Adhyatma Nitya Vinivritta Kama Dvandera Mukta Sukadukka Samya Gachanti Muda Padam Aviyam Tat. He says, one who is free from illusion, false prestige and false association, who understands the eternal, who is done with the materialist and is freed from the duality of happiness and distress, and who knows how to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, attains to that eternal kingdom. These are the qualifications required to go to the spiritual world. Not only we should desire to cut off, but we should develop these qualities. These are the basic requirement to go to spiritual world. If you have to go to another country, there's a basic requirement. We should get visa, sponsorship. Many things are there. Simply we cannot go. Because I want to go, I cannot go. We should have qualification. These are the qualification. To surrender to the Lord, first one should develop humility. One should not be puffed up. If one comes under the platform of false ego, he cannot surrender unto Krishna. False pride. The more one is proud of his position, it's very, very difficult for him to surrender to Krishna. It's not so easy. Just like educated people, highly educated people, scientists, philosophers, if ask them to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, they look at us like low class people. When we chant, the educated people, largely, not everyone, they see these people are useless people. They don't know anything. Because they are highly educated, they think they are God. They know everything. These people are uneducated people, the useless people. Only those people will chant the holy name. Only useless people chant God's name. Okay, they also got faith, but once in a while, once a month or once a year, they go to temple and just do namaskar. If ask them to chant, they will not chant. Why? false pride. He thinks he is bigger. The more one thinks he is a bigger, he cannot surrender to Krishna. It's impossible for him to surrender to Krishna. Therefore, one should not be under the influence of false pride. If one has got this, it's very, very difficult to surrender to Krishna. Yudhishthira Maharaj was a king. Although he underwent many, many challenges in his life, still he was happy. Whereas Duryodhana, he also was a king. He was surrounded by many brothers, friends. Still he was not happy. Why? Because he was proud of his position. He was envious of Pandavas. Once both of them were studying under Dronacharya, who Pandavas and Kauravas. One day Dronacharya called Yudhishthira, my dear Yudhishthira, go to the town and meet as many people as possible. Find out who is the worst of all at the end of the day. Please come and report to me. Then he called Duryodhana, my dear Duryodhana, please go to the town and meet as many people as possible. And at the end of the day, come and tell me who is the best of all, whom you met. Both of them went and met different kinds of people, old, young, middle, all kinds of people. Both of them came. Yudhishthira Maharaj reported, yes, my Guruji, I met many people. Whomever I met, I found he has got some special quality that I don't have. Whomever I met, everyone has got some exalted quality than me. I returned complete convinced that I am the worst of everyone. Worst of all, whomever I met, I am the worst. All are better than me. Duryodhana came and said, Guruji, Gurudev, I met so many people. In each one I found something's lacking. On the whole, after meeting all the people, I am completely convinced there is no one better than me. No one as noble than me. Because he was falsely proud of his position. Therefore, he was not able to surrender to Krishna. The basic qualification to surrender to the Lord is one should give false pride. Then illusion. One should become free from illusion. Illusion means thinking that we are the body. Although we are not the body, we think I am a husband or doctor or engineer. Falsely we are thinking we are the body. That is called illusion. We are not the body. We are the spirit soul, different from the body. As long as one has got attachment to the body, so long he undergoes suffering. He thinks himself a product of three modes of material nature. Therefore, he undergoes suffering. How the jivas are suffering in this material world was nicely narrated by Vidura to his brother Dhritarashtra. Vidura, when the war was going to take place, Vidura tried to convince Dhritarashtra to give the rightful kingdom to Pandavas. Duryodhana did not like, therefore he blasted Vidura that you are always partial with Pandavas. You are eating you are maintaining your life with our money, but you are supporting Pandavas. He insulted Duryodhana insulted Vidura. Vidura left the palace, resigned from his post, went on a pilgrimage. He met Maitreya. He received transcendental knowledge. Meanwhile, war was over. Dhritarashtra lost all his sons. He was living with Pandavas because no one was there. None of his sons survived after the war. So he was living at the cost of Pandavas' mercy. Vidura came and he started giving him the insight. Don't get attached to this materialistic life. Please give up this materialistic life. Then he started giving one nice allegory. There was a person, a Brahmana, who entered into the forest, deep forest. And all of a sudden, he came to know the forest filled with the wild animals. The wild animals always looking for its prey, food. He found difficulty. And he also carefully watched. The entire forest was enclosed by a net. He cannot even escape. There was only one exit, small, 6 feet exit. And he suddenly saw there was a powerful snake at the exit, blocking the way. He cannot exit. There are many wild animals in the forest, and it's enclosed by the net. He cannot go away, and he cannot even run away through the exit path. Powerful snake is there. He felt it's very, very dangerous condition. At the time there was an old woman, ugly, fearsome woman. She was outstretching her arms and slowly going towards him. And the Brahmana started running. Hey, don't run away, don't run away. Wait, wait. The Brahmana was very much afraid because of fear of this fearsome personified. While running, he slipped and fell into the pit. The pit was covered by some vines, creepers. He did not see. While falling into the pit, somehow his leg got entangled in the vines, the creepers, and his head was downwards and leg was upward. Leg got the vines. His legs got entangled in the vines. Therefore, head was downwards towards the pit. He was like a jackfruit hanging in the vine, the creepers. And to his surprise, he saw there was a powerful snake at the bottom of the pit, waiting when this fellow will fall and bite him. And he was very much afraid by seeing the snake and looked at the top. He saw a powerful elephant standing on the top of the pit. If he escapes, the elephant will crush him. And there was many bees hovering over the pit. There was a tree also next to the pit, and the tree had a branch. The branch, there was a hive, honey. And from the branch, the honey started dripping. This fellow, head was downward, leg was entangled in the creepers, and the honey was falling from the hive, and he was just opening his mouth and drinking like that. Drop, it's falling down. And he saw, again, noticed carefully, there are some rats. The rats were eating the vines, the creepers that was plunging him down. If they eat that vines, then he'll fall into a pit. He'll be killed by a snake. He saw the vines were being eaten by the rats. Still this person was opening his mouth and drinking honey, little bit. The most remarkable thing is, in spite of being in the midst of wild animals, the forest enclosed by a net, and a powerful snake at the exit, and there was a old woman who was outstretching her arms, and at the bottom of the pit, a powerful snake. On the top of the pit is powerful elephant, and the rats are eating the vines that kept him plunging him down. In spite of all these things, the Brahmana thought, he maintained the hope of living peacefully by drinking the drops of honey. It's the most foolish thing. Similarly, in this material world, although the forest is nothing but the material world, the wild animals is nothing but the diseases, and the old woman, Jara, old age. So Vidura nicely explains all these things. We don't have time to discuss. But this person thought, I can enjoy my life in spite of all the difficulties. This is what happens to the materialistic person. Although he's filled with the anxiety, many things, but still he has hope. I can enjoy. Because strong attachment, although one is old, invalid, still he has got desire to enjoy. He cannot enjoy, but he desire. He's got strong desire to enjoy. Why? The desire to enjoy is deep-rooted in everyone's heart. Therefore, Krishna says one should cut off this desire, deep-rooted desire to enjoy, because the more we try to enjoy, the more we will suffer. That's what Krishna explains in the first section. Next, he says, of course, Krishna says next, when we understand this, when we understand we are Atma, spirit soul, we can disconnect it from the body. When we get disconnected from the body, then we'll become indifferent to happiness and distress, honor and dishonor, fame and infamy, because it's all connected to the body. When we are attached to the body, we undergo suffering. When we think we are different from the body, we get unaffected. One should become free from dvanda. Then he can attain the eternal kingdom. Next, Krishna explains, okay, after going to the kingdom of the Lord, Krishna describes the nature of his kingdom. What is the nature of place a surrendered soul attain? After going there, whether it will come back or not. Because everyone wants to go to the place where having gone once, never comes to the place. What is the place? What is the nature of the place? Krishna says, Natad basati suryo ashashanko napavaga. Edgatvananivartante taddama paramamama. The abode of mine is not illumined by sun or moon or electricity. Whoever comes to my abode never comes back to this material world, never returns to this material world. See, in this material world, there are many planets, there are many universes. In this material world, there are many universes are there. Each universe has got many planets. Among the planets, one planet, sun planet, is called self-luminous. This one sun planet gives power, heat and light to the entire world, all the planets. Whereas the spiritual world, every planet is self-luminous. There is no sun in the spiritual world. Only in the material world, the sun exists. In the spiritual world, there is no sun or moon or electricity. In this material world, if there is no sun, there is no electricity, we cannot live. We cannot live even for a moment. But Krishna says, you come to my abode. You need not to pay any electricity bill. You can enjoy happily and you will never return to this material world. That is the nature of spiritual world. There is no anxiety in the spiritual world. But in the material world, it's full of anxiety. When we hear about the nature of the spiritual world is filled with full of happiness, which is eternal, then one develops desire to go to that abode. For that, what one should do? One should get detachment from this material world. How? By practicing Krishna consciousness. If one takes a Krishna consciousness, then he will be easily able to get detached from the material world and get transferred to the spiritual world. If one does not take up Krishna consciousness, what happens? He will get attached to fruitive activities and get different kinds of bodies. That's what Krishna is going to explain. First section, Krishna says how one should cut off our attachment to the material world and get transferred to spiritual world. What are the qualifications one should possess to go to that place? What is the nature of the place that a surrender soul goes? This is what Krishna explained in the first section. The second section, Krishna explains about the transmigration of the soul. When we do not take up the process of Krishna consciousness, naturally we'll get attached to different kinds of sense object, thus will transfer from one body to another body. That's what Krishna says. Mamaivamsho jivaloke jivabhuta sanatana manashashtani indriyani prakritistani karshadi. The living entities in this material world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to their conditioned nature, they struggle very hard in this world with the six senses that include mind. Krishna explains very clearly the living entities. Mamaivamshu jivaloke jivabhuta sanatana. Mamaiva amsa. We all the living entities are Krishna's amsa, a part and parcels. It's not that jiva assumes individuality when it's in conditioned state. Generally, Maya the philosopher says, now we are individual. After liberation, we'll become one with the Supreme. Krishna says, no. Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Sanatana means eternally we are a fragmental parts. Whether we are liberated or conditioned, we are individual. Since we are part and parcel of Krishna, just like Krishna has got the freedom, is Swarat, independent, has got full freedom. We too have, but in minute quantity. Little freedom is there. Krishna gives a freedom. By misusing our freedom, we get conditioned, undergo suffering in this material world. By proper use of our freedom, we get liberated. If we misuse our freedom, why we want to misuse? We want to exploit material nature. We want to enjoy sense gratification. Therefore, we misuse our freedom. I want to enjoy. Instead of serving Krishna, pleasing Krishna, we want to please ourselves. That is called misuse of our freedom. When I want to satisfy myself, then I try to exploit the material nature. I want to gratify my senses. If one wants to gratify his senses, then Krishna gives different kinds of bodies to gratify his senses. How the soul transmigrate from one body to another body. That's what Krishna is explaining this chapter. He says, Shariram ed avapnoti ichchapyuktra matishvara gritettvani samyadi vayurugandhan ivashayat. The living entity in this material world carries a different conception of life from one body to another body, just like air carries aromas. The living entity carries different conception of life from one body to another body, just like air carries aroma. When the wind blows air, the blowing wind carries, suppose it passes over the nice fragrant rose garden. Suppose here is a house, maybe 20 meter, 30 meter away from this place. It's a nice rose garden. When there is a wind, the wind carries the nice aroma, fragrance, nice aroma. We feel so nice. Actually, the wind, the air doesn't have any aroma. Simply when it passes over the rose garden, it carries the aroma. Suppose the same wind, I am sitting next to garbage or sewage. When the wind passes over the sewage or garbage, then we'll get stinking smell. Horrible. We can't even smell, feel disgusted, dissatisfied. Will not feel happy. Still, we cannot say the air has got bad smell. Simply it carries. Similarly, the soul is pure. It only carries different conception of life from one body to another body. Because whatever we do, whatever we think, all are stored in our subconscious mind, which consists of mind, intelligence, also is called chittam. This subtle body, the soul, when it goes, it takes subtle body. In the subtle body, all our desires stored. Whatever we have done, whatever thoughts we have accumulated in this life, all stored. Accordingly, we'll take different kinds of bodies in the next life. That's what Krishna says. And Krishna says, Ishvara, the Jiva, is a controller. How the living it is called controller? Because if I want to change my nature, I can change. It's up to me. I can control. If I want to get promoted to spiritual world, I can. If I want to become an animal, I can. It's left to me. Power is there with me. If I develop the qualities of demigods, then I'll take birth in the kingdom of demigods. If I develop the quality of a dog, then a jiva accept the body of dog. He can change his consciousness. Therefore, it's called Ishvara. He can control. If he wants to change, he can change. Nobody can change him. Because he has got the freedom. Suppose, therefore, we should not expect in this world that everyone should act the way I want. They cannot. Why? Because they carry different conception of life from their previous life. I may like carrot halwa, you may like beetroot halwa, somebody may like pumpkin halwa. I can't say, no, you should like carrot halwa, you should like carrot halwa. No, they will tell me, you should like pumpkin halwa. I may like blue, you may like black, somebody like green. I can't expect you should like the color which I liked. Because it is my choice. I have been carrying different conception of life from previous life. Therefore, I choose this is what I want. You choose this is what you want because you carry different conception of life. Sometimes a male and female, a boy and girl, they want to get married. It's like a two CDs. Before getting married, a boy thinks, after marriage, I'll change my wife the way I want. Similarly, the girl also thinks, after I get married, I'll make sure my husband follows what I want. Already both the CDs are full. It's coming from previous life. And they want to change after getting married. Husband want to erase the song that's already written in the CD. And he wants to write his song upon the CD of wife. Wife also thinks, I'll erase the song of my husband, I'll write my own song. It cannot. Immediately there is a clash. There is a disagreement. There is a fight. And after some time, maybe a year, baby CD is born. Father thinks, I'll write my songs upon the CD of my son. Mother thinks, I'll write my songs upon the CD of my son. They expect the CD is a blank. That baby is a blank CD so that I can write my songs upon the son's CD. They do not know the CD also is coming with full of songs. Why? Krishna says. How? Krishna says. The living entities carries different conception of life from one body to another body. Therefore, however we may try, sometimes the devotees, they come and tell parents, they come and tell us, Prabhuji, however we try to preach our children, we give the best of facilities, still they don't become devotees. Because their CD is full. We are trying to write our songs upon the CD of our children. They cannot. Why? Because they carry different conception. However, it's our duty. It's our duty to give a proper education to children. It's our duty to instruct them to take up Krishna consciousness, to give all the facilities. Nevertheless, we should not expect they should become devotees. We should not expect they should become devotees. We only try our best. Give the facility for them to become devotees. We'll try. But don't expect they should become devotees. Because they carry different conception of life from the previous birth. If you try more and more, the jiva become rebellious, become frustrated. He'll go against what we say. In general, we can preach, but we cannot force any jiva. The more we force, the more we become rebellious. We should not expect the world to act the way I want. It's impossible. We should accept the way they act. Because they are different, we are different. We carry different conception of life, they carry different conception of life. When we try to mix together, there's a conflict. If the jiva wants to rewrite his CD, the jiva can write. We cannot write. I can't erase the songs of someone's CD and write my songs. However, I can tell what is right, what is wrong. That is my duty. It's up to jiva. They may take, may not take. When you go for preaching, we'll tell Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, chant Hare Krishna Mantra. It is their choice. We can only give the path. Accept or don't accept, it's left to them because they carry different concepts of life. That's what Krishna says. Now, after Krishna next says, after getting next body, Srotram Chakshus Pasram Cha Rasanam Gram Evacha Adhishtaya Manashchayam Vishayana Upasevate. Krishna says, the living entities, thus taking another body, obtain certain type of ear, tongue, nose, and sense of touch, which are grouped about the mind. He thus enjoys a particular set of sense object. After we give up this body, we'll get different body. Whatever thoughts we accumulate during this lifetime will influence our thought at the time of death. So we get that particular body. Suppose somebody is attached to eat meat. Every day want to eat meat. Very much attracted, very much attached to eating meat. Therefore, laws of nature will give the suitable body. Tiger or lion, so that he can eat meat always. He has got developed the desire of eating meat in this life. Therefore, he will be given, according to his desire, certain kind of mouth, certain kind of senses, eyes, ear. The way he want to enjoy, the laws of nature will give him the body. So you are attached to eating meat, you become tiger, you become lion, so that you will keep eating meat. Only eating meat. Somebody always wants to fly, he'll get the body of a bird. Somebody always wants to swim, he'll get the body of fish. Whatever jiva has got the consciousness, the jiva has got the consciousness. We all have got consciousness, the conscious, pure consciousness. But if one adulterates his consciousness with certain kind of mentality of dog, he'll become dog in the next life. If he adulterates his consciousness with the mentality of hog, he'll become hog. If he adulterates his consciousness with the quality of demigods, he'll get the consciousness like a crystal clear pure water. If you mix some color in the water, it changes the color. But our original consciousness like a pure crystal clear water. Although in the water, suppose if you put the color, it's mixed. Now I have to make it again crystal clear water. What I should do? Should keep on putting, for example, this is a glass, white glass, for example, maybe a glass you take, glass of water, put some blue color or any color. The color of the water changes. Now I have to make the water to be crystal clear. Then what I should do? I should put pure water. Keep on putting, slowly, all the color, whatever it is the contamination goes away. After, the water will become crystal clear. Similarly, our consciousness now contaminated. When you keep on hearing, pouring pure consciousness, keep on hearing about Krishna. Krishna is pure. If you hear about Krishna, gradually all the contamination from the heart will be disappeared. And our consciousness will be a pure, crystal clear consciousness. That is our original consciousness. That's our original consciousness. Further, to get our original consciousness, we should keep on putting pure thoughts, pure things, pure subject. only about Krishna. Because Krishna is a pure, uncontaminated. When we hear about Krishna or pure devotees, naturally we'll get our original consciousness. That is called Krishna consciousness. When we develop Krishna consciousness, then we'll go to the abode of Krishna at the end of life. This is the way we can transfer our life from this body to abode of the Lord. Then, after hearing all these things, still some people do not accept, they do not understand. Who are these people? They are called Moodas. They do not understand how the living light is transferred from one body to another body. Uttamandam sidamapi munjanam va munanvidam vimudananu pashyanti jnana chakshusha. Foolish cannot understand how they give up one body and accept another body. Because they cannot understand. They don't have knowledge to understand how they give up one body, accept one body, and how they enjoy under the influence of three modes of material nature. But Pashyanti Jnana Chakshusha, one whose eyes are trained in knowledge can see the truth as it is. They can see why this person is suffering, why this person is enjoying. In this world filled with many people, somebody is taking birth in the rich class, somebody is taking birth in the poor family, somebody is taking birth in the aristocratic family, like a rich family like Bill Gates or Ambani, or sometimes become a son of a chief minister or powerful prime minister. Why? Why they enjoy? Somebody enjoys. Why somebody suffers? Because they carry different conception of life. Foolish cannot understand. He says, no, chance. They have taken birth, that's all. They do not understand. They may be scientists. They may be a philosopher sometimes. They do not understand why the jiva is suffering. Sometimes people blame. Even 3-year-old boy. 2 years, child. He will have cancer. Why the child is getting cancer at the age of 2? He has not committed any sinful activity. Only sinful people should suffer. But the baby, child, who has not committed any sinful activity, doesn't know anything, still he suffers. Why? Carries different conception of life, previous life. Whatever bad things we perform in the previous life, we have to suffer in this life. No one can escape from the laws of nature. No one can escape from the laws of nature. But one whose eyes are trained in knowledge, he can see all these things. How he enjoys, how he suffers, based on his previous conception of life. In the Bhagavatam, Shukadeva Goswami explains, Vyapatya kalatrayeshu atmasaneshu asatsabi tesham pramatvanidhanam pashyanapi pashyati. He says, persons who are devoid of knowledge of Atma Tattva, science of self, he has got attachment for whom? Wife, children, family, society, community. And therefore he thinks they will protect me. He works hard to take care of the society, family, thinking that they will protect me, society will give me protection, wife will give me protection, son will give me protection. Although he is sufficiently experienced, everyone apt to die. No one can give protection unless Lord gives. It does not, because a foolish is devoid of Atma Tattva. Therefore, is invest his time in maintaining society, community. Although they cannot give protection, he falsely deposit all his energy to the wrong account. Yamaraja, in the form of Yaksha, asked one question to Yudhishthira Maharaj. In Mahabharata it's described. What is the most wonderful thing in this world? Yudhishthira Maharaj says, Hani hani bhutani gachanti yamalayam. Sheshastavram ichanti kim ashara ataparam. Kim ashari ataparam. Every moment, thousands of people are going to the abode of Yamaraja. Everyone sees. Everyone hears. neighbors died, grandfather died, fathers died. So many people have died. Thousands of people are dying. The person who lives, he thinks, no, I will live eternally. Therefore, he does not prepare for the death. If he thinks, I am going to die, then immediately he should prepare for his death. What I supposed to do? When Parikshit Maharaj was cursed to die, immediately he asked the question. He left everything, came to the Ganges, and met Shukadeva Goswami, asked what a person supposed to do when particularly is about to die. Of course, everyone is going to die, but immediately is going to die. What is supposed to do? What is not supposed to do? A foolish person cannot understand. Therefore, is called Vimuda. Krishna says, Vimudas cannot understand. They falsely invest their time unnecessarily in false things which cannot give a real shelter to them. Okay, after speaking, people, even we may not accept Krishna as Supreme Lord, but still, if one understands how Krishna is maintaining this world, one will develop attachment for Krishna. Even grossly, if one does not attachment for the Lord, but if you carefully analyzes the world, how the sun appears, how the moon comes, what we eat, what is the source of our existence, if you start contemplating on this, if he becomes grateful to the person who was providing all these things, then he develop attachment for Krishna. Therefore, Krishna is explained in the next section how he is maintaining the entire world, whether people likes him or do not like him. Just like a father maintains his children, whether they like him, they respect him, they follow him or not. Still, father, out of his kindness, maintains his children. Similarly, Krishna maintains all the jivas, whether we obey or do not obey, because he is kind to everyone. Let's explain the next section. Krishna says, Yadaditya gadam dejo Yadaditya gatam tejo jagat baseti akilam etchandramasi etchagnu taddejo vidhi mamakam. The splendor of the sun, which dissipates the darkness of the world, comes from me. The splendor of the moon, the splendor of the fire also comes from me. Krishna says, the splendor of the sun, which dissipates the darkness of the material world, comes from Krishna. Without Krishna's mercy, there cannot be sun, there cannot be moon, there cannot be electricity, without which we cannot survive. Therefore, should be always grateful to Krishna for providing sunlight, moonlight and electricity. So we should be always grateful to Krishna. Whenever we look at sun, moon, electricity, should be grateful to Krishna. Without Krishna, we cannot sit and discuss all the things, because light is required, electricity is required. To speak, mic is required, camera is required, everything is required. Otherwise, there is no power, electricity, we cannot even discuss. Even to hear about Krishna, it's Krishna's mercy. We should be grateful to the Lord. Whenever we hear about the Lord, we should be grateful to the Lord because of providing the facility. Next, Krishna explains, Gama vishacha bhutani dharayamyaham ojasha pushnami chaushadi sarva soma bhutva rasatmaka. I enter into each planet, and by my energy they stay in orbit. I become the moon and thereby supply the juice of life to all vegetables. Krishna says, I enter into each planet, and by my energy they stay in orbit. In this material world, in this one universe, we can see there are millions of stars, planets. All are going in orbit. How they are going in orbit? Because Krishna enters into each planet, and he is driving. He becomes a driver of each planet, like the car. However, we may be expert driver. Still, when we drive, there will be accident. But Krishna drives, there is no accidents. No, there is no accident. We can see there are millions of planets are floating and revolving at the speed of lakhs of kilometers, but we cannot see, we have not heard there was an accident between the two planets collided each other. We have not heard. Today, in the modern life, we can see the satellites play the vital roles in the communication industry, military science, and even scientific study of planets and Earth. Our scientists send some satellite to space, and a group of network of scientists and engineers work around the clock after sending a satellite to the space. They constantly monitor the satellite, the spin, orientation, cosmic radiation, the distance between the Earth and the satellite. So many hundreds of scientists constantly working. Where is that? How it's moving? Which direction is moving? Whether it's going close to the Earth or going away from the Earth. Everything they monitor. Small satellite, maybe 1000 kg, 2000 kg. The maximum weight of the satellite is 10,000 kg. American spy satellite, that's all. Just to see that our universe filled with many, many planets like Earth planet. The weight of the Earth planet is 6 into 10 to the power of 21 metric tons. And revolving at the speed of, moving at the speed of 106,000 kilometers per hour. Even the flight, which flies maximum 1000 miles per hour, that's all, or 2000 miles per hour, that's all. But the Earth with so much weight, it's moving at the speed of 106,000 kilometers per hour. And the movement of Earth is so precise, so accurate. The distance between the Sun and the Earth is so accurate. If Earth comes little closer, the distance between the Earth and the Sun is, I think, 14.95 crores kilometer. That's what science says. 14.95 crore kilometer is the distance between Sun and the Earth. If the Earth comes little towards Sun, Earth would be burnt to ashes. If Earth moves away from the Sun, instead of 14.95 crore kilometer, 14.96 crore kilometer goes finished, 0.01. Earth would be frozen. Who is maintaining this distance? It is Lord. Lord enters into each planet. The weight of the Sun is, it is said, I think 3.989 into 10 to the power of, or 6.989 into 10 to the power of 27 metric tons. That is the weight of the Sun, mass of the Sun. So who is maintaining all these things? For such a small satellite, so much intelligence is gone to see all the parameter. How much intelligence must have gone to maintain all these things? Anybody who thinks little bit, then he'll come to know there is supreme power. There is a God who is maintaining. Then he'll develop attachment for God. Even though one may not know Krishna, at least he will come to know there is supreme power, the God who is controlling, who is maintaining. Then he will develop attachment for that God. Therefore, Krishna is explaining all these things. Next, Krishna says, I am Vaishvanaro Bhuta Praninam Deham Ashrita Pranapana Samapta Pachami Chatuvidam Pachami Annam. He says, I am the digestion of the food. Krishna says, I am the fire of digestion in every living being, every living body, and I am the air of life, outgoing and incoming, by which I digest the 4 kinds of foodstuff, called Pachami Annam, Chaturvidam, 4 kinds of foodstuff, what we eat, which is licked, which is chewed, drunk. These are 4 kinds of foodstuffs that we eat. Krishna is digesting our food. We can't eat. If Krishna does not digest, we cannot enjoy even eating. So Krishna is so merciful upon all the jivas. If food is not digested properly, then we'll get all kinds of diseases. We cannot survive even 1 year. You see the greatness of Lord, how He enters into the jivas and digest the foodstuff so that we'll get energy to all over the body and we are able to do our work. Even to enjoy sense gratification, the body is required. Healthy body is required. In order to become healthy, the food should be digested. But Krishna was digesting the food. So we should be grateful to Lord for digesting the food, getting energy, and even to enjoy sense gratification. How one should be grateful to the Lord. If one carefully understands, studies, then naturally we get attached to the Lord. We should be always grateful to the Lord. Acknowledge the blessings of the Lord. Not blame the Lord when we undergo suffering. There was a building construction was going on, 34 building. There are many machines started working, mixing the concrete, and lot of sound was going on. And 25th floor, a supervisor, at the time there was no, the lift is not functioning because they're building still. And 25th floor, a supervisor was standing. Down, there was a employee, he was working. Employee was working down ground, and the supervisor has to communicate some important information to the person. He's trying to get his attention because he's standing in the 24th floor to call him to, you want to give some message, immediate message. He cannot come, 5th floor, he cannot walk and come. So he's trying to call and is not able to catch his attention. Then he had some 50 rupees note in his pocket. He took 50 rupees and started dropping it. The 50 rupees came and fell near the worker who was working. He saw the 50 rupees, then he started looking everywhere. All the places he started looking, except top. He could not see anyone, took the 50 rupees and put in the packet. He was very happy, satisfied, 50 rupees I got, and started working again. The supervisor wanted to get his attention immediately. He put next is 100 rupees, thinking that he will pay his attention. Again it fell near the worker, and again saw 100 rupees. He started looking everywhere. No one was there. Took 100 rupees. Supervisor getting anxiety. He wanted to pass the information immediately. He dropped 1,000 rupees note. At least he will look at me. The person saw 1,000 rupees, was excited. What is it today? Money is raining today. What is this? So I am lucky to get all these things. He took 1,000 rupees, put, and he was enjoying. The super was getting angry. He was not getting the employee's attention at all. Then he saw there was some stone, small stone. He took a stone and started putting. Second came and hit that. As soon as the stone hit, immediately he looked at the top. So many times he looked everywhere. This time, immediately looked at the top. Started blaming. You don't have eyes to see. I am working here. See, when he was getting money, he did not look at the person who was giving the money, and he thought, okay, it has come by chance. I am lucky, so lucky. When some misery comes, immediately started blaming the person. This is what happens in this world. When we get the blessings of the Lord, we do not acknowledge the blessings of the Lord. When we get any suffering, immediately we blame the Lord. We immediately look at the God and say, God, you don't have any eyes to see my suffering. I'm so much suffering. Whenever we get the blessings, we do not acknowledge. So how Krishna was maintaining this world, we do not see. Krishna became juice of all the vegetables. Because of moonshine, the vegetables become juicy, tasty. There's no moonshine, there will be no vegetables. There will be no juice, nor it will be tasty. It will be very bad smell. So Krishna become juice of all the vegetables. Because out of kindness, without vegetables, without food grains, we cannot maintain, we cannot survive. Therefore, we should be always grateful to Krishna. So this is what Krishna talks about how he is maintaining the world so that a jiva, if he carefully understands and studies about all things and all, he develop attachment for Krishna. Next, Krishna is explaining one more verse. Sarvasya cham risannivishto matasmrti jnanam aponamcha vedascha sarver hamyeva vedya vedyanta kritvata vidyeva chaham. Krishna says, I am seated in everyone's heart as a super soul. Sarvasya cham risannivishta, hridi, heart. I am situated in everyone's heart as super soul. From me comes knowledge, remembrance and forgetfulness. By all Vedas, I am to be known. I am known. By all the Vedas, I am known. The purpose of studying Vedas to understand me. In fact, I am the compiler of Vedas. In fact, I am the compiler of Vedas. This is what Krishna says. So Krishna serves every jiva from within. How he activates remembrance, forgetfulness, and gives knowledge. Why he gives forgetfulness? He should give knowledge. Why he gives forgetfulness? Because if we are to remember all our past life, miserable life, the sufferings that we underwent throughout our previous life, if God gives remembrance, all the sufferings that we underwent in the past life, we cannot exist. We will not be able to survive, we will not be able to function. For example, many of us may have experienced, maybe some 15 years before, somebody insulted us, humiliated us in front of many people. Still, the hurt will be there. It will be paining. Whenever we look at the person, we will be so angry. We will not respect him. We get angry. Whenever we look at the person who insulted us, who humiliated us, who crushed us, we will get angry. We cannot be even peaceful when he is there in front of us. We have got experience. Suppose a neighbor, our own brother, humiliated us in the past, two lives before. When we come to know, my own brother humiliated us, humiliated me, insulted me, ridiculed me, he crushed me. In fact, he wanted to murder me. If we come to know, we can't be peaceful. Suppose 2 births back, 2 previous birth before, we are like hawk eating some stool. We don't know. We may be a monkey 2-3 births before, or 5 births or 10 births before. We don't know. When we remember, I was a pig 5 births before. When we eat food, when we think of, I was like this, we cannot even eat. Suppose we were situated at a high level. Suppose now also sometimes somebody will go up, like very rich. Finally he'll collapse, become bankrupt. Nobody will respect him. When we think of how rich he was, how he's suffering now, it's very difficult for him. He cannot enjoy life. I was like this. Now you see my life. So much suffering. He can't tolerate. In whatever way we enjoyed or suffered, when we remember all things, only we'll suffer. Therefore, Krishna makes us to forget. And with a certain kind of object we may have worked in the previous life, either in the devotional life or karmi life. Somebody want to become an IAS officer, somebody want to become doctor, somebody want to become engineer, somebody wanted to become politician, but he could not fulfill the desire. He wanted to become, he tried, attempted, but he could not become the previous life. Therefore, he get this life. Paramatma gives a direction, activates. Okay, you become doctor. You wanted to become doctor in the previous life. No, you go through this. You become politician. You become like this. Otherwise, why? When we ask children, plus 2 or PUC or 10th standard student, sometimes they will ask question, what do you become? What do you like to become? They said, I want to become doctor. I want to become engineer. Where from it's coming? It is Paramatma who activates his previous life desires. He gives a remembrance. You become a doctor. In children, 2-year-old boy, children, they'll practice devotion service. They'll enjoy kirtan. They hear They'll sit and hear Krishna Katha. How? Because of previous life. Krishna gives a remembrance to the Jiva. You practice devotional service. Because you practiced in the previous life, you could not achieve success. Therefore, chance is given the next life. Therefore, the Jiva takes up devotional service even at the age of 5 or 6 or 10 or 20 because Krishna activates. Therefore, Krishna is always kind to everyone. He makes us to forget for our own benefit. If he gives a remembrance of all our past life, we cannot exist even one day. He is maintaining us. He is maintaining us. So, we should be grateful to Lord. This is the third section. Fourth section, Krishna explains about three kinds of persons. Dvavimo purusho loke, sharakshatra evacha, sharak sarvani bhutani kuttastaraksha uchade. Dvavimo purusho loke. In this world, there are two kinds of beings, living beings. One is called kshara. Kshara means a fallible, the conditioned soul. Akshara means infallible, liberated souls. When the jivas come in contact with their material nature, it becomes kshara, fallible, because it comes under the control of three modes of material nature. When the jiva is free from the control of free from the modes of three material nature, that is, the jiva is in the spiritual world. The living entity who is in the spiritual world is called akshara, infallible. Two kinds of living being. One is called kshara, fallible. One is called akshara, infallible. In the material world, whoever lives, all the jivas are called kshara, fallible. In the spiritual world, all the living entities are called akshara, infallible. The next Krishna says, among these two living entities, apart from these two living entities, there is one more person who is the Supreme Lord, who entered into this world. He maintains both the living entities. Those who are fallible and infallible. He is transcendental to fallible and infallible. That is I am. Krishna says, Krishna is the maintainer of both the liberated souls and the conditioned souls. Not that after we are liberated, we are not maintained by Krishna. In the conditioned state also, we are maintained by Krishna. The liberated state also, we are maintained by Krishna. Because I am transcendental to both fallible and infallible, I am known to be a greatest person. I am declared in the Vedas, I am the Purushottama. I am the greatest personality. Therefore, in this chapter is called Purushottama Yoga. Purushottama Yoga means Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. He is the one who maintains both the conditioned souls and spiritual souls. Liberated souls. The final two sections. The final, last section. The Supreme Personality of God, last two verses. Krishna concludes, Yomam evam asamudo janadi purushottamam. Sa sarvavid bhajati mam sarvabhavaina bharata. He says, whoever knows me as Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubt is to be understood as the knower of everything. He therefore engages himself in full devotional service. So Krishna very clearly says, anyone who knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the knower of everything. Sa sarvavit. Vit means knowledge. Sarva means all. He knows everything. Who? Anyone who accepts, understands Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He knows everything in this world. Such kind of person engages in full devotional service unto the Supreme Lord. If anyone is engaged in the devotional service of the Lord, unalloyed devotional service unto the Lord, it is understood that he knows everything. He understood knowledge. He understood Vedic knowledge. And for him, there is no need to read any other Vedic literature or he need not to perform any Vedic rituals. Why? Because he already surpassed all these things. He come to the pinnacle of understanding of the absolute truth. The pinnacle of understanding of the absolute truth is, the ultimate understanding of the absolute truth is, one should accept Krishna as Supreme Lord and engage in devotional service. Because he is engaged in devotional service, he understood there is no need for him to follow any kinds of religious principles, because he come to the conclusion. On the other hand, the person who may follow many religious principles, rituals, many years or even many lifetimes, but if he does not come to the conclusion, if he does not accept Krishna as Supreme Lord, if he does not engage in devotional service, whatever he has done in this life or the previous life, simply waste of time, no use. On the other hand, anyone who engages in devotional service is surpassed all the Vedas, because he come to the conclusion of the highest truth. Highest truth is to accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and engage in devotional service. The final verse Krishna says, Iti guhyataram shastram idam uktam mayanaga etad buddhva buddhiman syat kartakartasya bharata. He says, this is the most confidential part of Vedic knowledge. Iti guhyatamam shastram. Guhyatama means confidential part of Shastra. And it is declared by me, it is told by me to you. Why? Because you are anaga, you are sinless. Krishna is saying to Arjuna, you are sinless, therefore I explain this most confidential part of Vedic knowledge. What is the most confidential part of Vedic knowledge? Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engaging in devotional service unto Krishna is the essence of all Vedic knowledge. Anyone who understands, he becomes etad buddhva buddhiman syat. He becomes buddhiman, most wise, most intelligent person. Anyone accepts Krishna as Supreme Lord and engages in devotional service becomes most intelligent person. If one accepts Krishna and serves with him love, we understand is an intelligent person. What about others? One who does not worship Lord. However, one may be intelligent in the eyes of common people, like a scientist, very powerful thinkers. If one does not render service unto Krishna, however he may be smart, however he may be intelligent, however he may be educated, whatever he may have education, zero, no value. He is an imperfect person. He is not intelligent person. Materially he may be intelligent, but ultimately is zero, big zero. Krishna says here anaga to Arjuna. Anaga means one is sinless. Unless one is free from sinful reaction, one cannot understand God. One cannot understand Krishna. Therefore, one should become free from contamination of all sinful reaction. But the devotional service is so potent, so pure, simply by performing devotional service, one comes to the stage of free from all contamination. One comes to the stage of sinless. So devotional service is so potent, so powerful. Doesn't matter, we may be sinful people, but by performing devotional service, we become free from all sinful reaction, free from all contamination, come to the platform of sinlessness. Then we'll be able to understand Krishna completely. This is what Krishna explains in this chapter. Let's have a short summary. So Krishna explains the beginning. One should cut off the relationship with the material body and material world, knowing will that is different from the matter. I am not the body, I am the spirit soul, I am the part and parcel of Krishna. Therefore, it's my duty to serve Krishna, not this material world. This we can understand only by the process of devotional service. Only when we hear from the bona fide spiritual master, we'll be able to understand that I am part and parcel of Krishna, and therefore we'll be able to gain detachment from the material world. Second, the qualification to go to the spiritual world, one should become free from lust, kama, krodha, moha, all free from illusion, false prestige, false pride, false association. One should not associate with the people, those who are not God consciousness. That's called false association. When we associate with the people who are not God conscious, will infect their qualities. Our progress will be hampered. Therefore, one should give up the false associate. Means one should not associate with the non-devotees. One should associate with only devotees, because when we associate with the devotees, we'll develop detachment. We'll develop detachment from the material activities. Then we'll be eligible to enter into the kingdom of God. Next point, Krishna says, this life is preparation for the next life. We'll get the body based on the consciousness that we have developed in this life. If we develop Krishna consciousness in this life, then we'll get a body in the abode of Lord. If we develop animal consciousness, we'll become animal in the next life. So this life is very, very crucial for us. What we want to become in the future, now we should decide and plan, prepare accordingly. Only intelligent people can understand about the process of transmigration from one body to another body. Those who are not intelligent, they cannot understand. However, they may try. The scientists or many people, philosophers, thinkers, they are not able to understand why somebody is suffering, why somebody is enjoying, because they are not trained. They don't have eyes, which is, what do you say, jnana chakshusha. Their eyes are not trained in knowledge. They do not see things through the eyes of knowledge because they are dull. They do not surrender to the Lord. And Krishna says next, Krishna is only maintainer of all the living entities, both in the conditioned state and liberated state. Therefore, he is the best and is addressed as Purushottama. Then Krishna explained in the 15th verse, the ultimate purpose of studying all the Vedas and Upanishad, all the scriptures, to understand Krishna is a Supreme Personality of Godhead and be engaged in devotional service. This is the conclusion. When we accept Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead and engage in devotional service, then we know everything. That is the most confidential part of the Vedic literature. Therefore, this chapter is called Purushottama Yoga, to accept Krishna as the Purusha Uttama, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and be engaged in his service. By rendering service unto Krishna, we become free from all sinful reaction and go back to the abode of Lord at the end of life. This is the summoned substance of this chapter. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki. Please attend the quiz. Hare Krishna. Thank you.